Hello, everybody. Welcome to On the Block with Jen. This is your crew. You just pulled up to the block. If you're here for the first time, where you been? We missed you, but you're here now. Okay, buckle up. It gets bumpy here. Who we are is on the screen. See everybody's name? Everybody's name. It's right here. Okay. We all have other social media. We got the YouTube, the TikTok, the Instagram, okay, the YouTube. Go to the YouTube, the Instagram, the TikTok, whichever one is your favorite. You can find us all there. Okay. We're quite the eclectic, talented, sharp as a whip crew. Okay. We did come together. We do get off of this screen. We did come together and lived in Vegas for a week and a half, and we're doing it again, and we're bringing you content from us living together, which was quite interesting. If you go down my gallery, you can see us living together, cooking together, and hanging out if you're curious about the block and what we look like sort of in person to each other, because you won't be seeing us in person, not yet, till we start a tour or something. But quite interesting content. We're going to be bringing you more and more of that. Okay. I am waiting literally on a hard drive to be mailed to me. Okay. Rob, the fuck? He's actually snail mailing me a hard drive so I can bring you guys all that content, because it was a lot. So he was like, a Dropbox isn't going to work. So I was like, send it. I know where you live. So he said that he put it on his calendar because he doesn't want any smoke with me. Smart man. He's going to mail it. So as soon as I get it, you guys will have it. All right. You're going to see us in a lot more ways than you ever dreamed of. That's coming soon too. Hope you enjoy that as well. Matter of fact, I know you're going to enjoy that. Okay. You're going to be seeing a lot more of us very, very soon. With that said, do you guys like my t-shirt? Let's see who can figure it out.
Have fun when the rabbit has a gun.
No.
That's what I would have said.
That's what I would have said too.
Okay, then what is it?
I think the white guys go get it. No, Saint. Can you get it?
Gun hair.
Close.
Let's see.
A hair.
Trigger. Okay. Hair trigger?
There you go.
No? Yeah?
There you go. There you go. See, when I first saw it, I was like, "Ooh, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun." But then, but that, because that's me. Okay.
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah.
Right. That's what I thought. I was like, that's me. That's usually because people don't expect me to get the gun. And when I do, it's like, oh, hey, stop it. Slow down, quit. And I'm like, no, now we're here. But that's not what it means. I thought it meant that too. No fun when the rabbit got the gun, but it actually means hair trigger, which also matches me.
I'm about to say both work. Double entendre. Definitely a double entendre.
Both work.
I'm just going to say this. They're beautiful earrings that Lily has on, but I think I could catch some fish with those earrings.
You'll say want to fight early.
Just ask your fisherman boyfriend. Those look like spinners, like in the water.
Okay, so we got to run these by the fisherman guy.
Yeah.
Put these on the hook and catch a fish.
He would approve. Yeah, he'd say, "Can I borrow that for you?"
Lord knows he would approve.
My brother had me laughing this morning because he's a fucking criminal because he went crabbing without a license and.
You can't crab without a license?
Apparently you can't. Exactly. Apparently you can't. It was you have to have some type of permit or something.
Okay.
And so then he was like, "Oh, I forgot court." I said, "Am I harboring a fugitive?" So yeah,
you know what I love about our planet and about white people specifically, how they took it upon themselves to like own shit, right? And I'm telling you, people think I'm exaggerating, but I'm telling you, every time I say something, it fucking comes true. Okay, they're gonna start charging for air in about 100 years. Okay, they're gonna charge you for the air that you are consuming during your and I know you're thinking, how the fuck are they gonna calculate that? They're gonna do it by the number of years you're alive. I promise you, we're gonna be getting charged for air.
No, I've been saying that. I've been saying that for about 10 years now. I do not put it past.
They're gonna charge for. They charge for you. You buy a house, right? Outright. No, you got property taxes. This isn't your land, bitch. Like, Who made you? Right. So when I think about the crab fishing, right? It's like, who made you? The fucking ocean.
Well, listen.
It got white plane
There
He's
are
like, yeah.
reasons. There are certainly reasons, because that right now they're going through a problem here in Louisiana. There's these hog boats, which I can't even explain what they are, but they're not fishing far enough off the coast, so they're killing off redfish and speckled trout that would be mating, and the fish population has declined significantly. So you got to make rules, and the same with crabbing. Like you have so many crabs, or so it's got to be a certain size to keep the population healthy. Otherwise, people are going to do what they want to do, and then we'll just that's what's going to happen is that some of these species will go extinct because people don't have enough. I don't know. I don't want to say common sense, but just they think that their little contribution isn't going to hurt overall, but everybody thinks that, and then it ends up hurting. So there's reasons why they have limits and license and gets to keep populations and things like that.
We can always count on No Saint the White's plane. But let me ask this: how much is the permit?
It's not that expensive. It's like maybe $17 a year.
But it's not free.
No, it's not free. Because
why wouldn't it be free?
Because you have people that have to go out there making sure people are doing the right thing. It's
after corporations then squandered every damn thing. It's like, it was like what somebody said today. I wish I would have wrote it down. It wasn't the most profound thing I ever heard, but basically when they do it, it's God dang it, I gotta figure out. But
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's two different things. But when we do it, it's illegal. Right. But when they do it, it's called fishing, right? I mean, and it's not just with fishing; it's with everything, right? So it's like, okay, whatever. Everything. Like they'll go into the Amazon, find a tribe that's been there for like 10,000 years, that's been cool on their own with no permits, doing their thing. They'll take their land and then charge them for it.
And we have to protect these people from themselves. No, you know what's the funniest thing I ever heard? Okay, and then we're gonna get into the topic. I know y'all waiting, family. Hold this down, chat. The funniest thing I ever heard. I like Shark Week like everybody else, and they were out in the water, and they kept talking about this shark infestation, and I was like, they live there.
You're bothering them.
And they use the term so loosely. And the guy's on the boat, and they're on the boat. Today we are studying the shark infestation. You're the infestation, sir.
They're minding their business.
Right. They live there. So I'm like, can you imagine a thing living there? Even if it's living in large numbers, it lives there. That's where it lives. And he kept referring to them as a shark infestation. I said, ain't the white man about a bitch.
That is some wild shit. Think about it, like you chilling out, you in your shark barbershop with the rest of the sharks and shit. The motherfuckers is just up talking like, yo, Mike, what the fuck?
Man, listen, very, very interesting planet we're on. Very interesting planet we're on. With that said,
because we are having a human infestation, if you ask me.
Oh, for sure. You know me, I'm still at the cliff in the movie 300 to chuck them over. See, but I would do too much. I'd be like, bad attitude, chuck them over. Bitter, chuck them over. Not just birth defects. I'd be like, chuck them over.
God knew not to make me God. Listen, God knew not to make me God. Like, bitch, what you say?
I'd be the people that No Saint hates, a dictator. I'd be like, excuse me, sir, you're 5'5". You're gonna make 5'5" children. Chuck them over. Get them out of here. Get them out of here.
Oh God.
No muscles.
I think that God's kid really made us. And we're just like this bad science project that he just tried to hide from the family. And here we are.
I mean, we are in like the outskirts of the solar system.
On some amoeba and boom. Yeah. Here we are, some shit like that. This can't happen planned.
I just think in general, like you know how I feel about humans. They're very arrogant, very obnoxious,
absolutely,
very entitled. You know, I know sometimes animals are probably looking at us like, the fuck?
And they supposed to be the dominant species on Earth? Like, what the fuck is this?
Like, get out the water, homie. You know, Jada Pinkett, every now and then when no one's talking about that bald-headed scallywag, she got to bring up Tupac, right? Because everybody knows the faux rivalry that Will Smith and a dead Tupac have had for decades, right? He's the only man I know that has a rivalry with a dead guy, thanks to his wife.
Might be the longest beef in rap so far.
Okay,
right.
Thanks to his bald-headed scallywag wife. Okay, Will Smith has this ongoing beef with Tupac. So what did Jada Pinkett do a couple days ago? She posted a video of her and Tupac doing karaoke to Will Smith's song on her Instagram.
Who asked for this?
Oh, well, her PR people, because otherwise, who will talk about Jada Pinkett?
Oh, okay. Because
what would we say about Jada if she's not talking about Tupac, right? So she posted this video on her Instagram of her doing karaoke with Tupac to parents just don't understand Will Smith. So you know the timelines are like, oh, this bitch, she fucking with Will. Why she did that? She got blah blah. Like, that's a slap in the face to him. They're doing karaoke to Will Smith, and she knows that Will is tortured by it. And by the way, we know this because of Will's own words. This is not a rumor. He said several times on different interviews that he always felt inferior to Tupac because Tupac was that guy, right? He was like thug. He had the street cred. Although Tupac was a fucking ballet dancer, model, and actor.
Hell of an actor.
Okay. Tupac was an actor, a model, and a ballet dancer. But in the world of Will Smith, he had that street cred, got thug life. He started hanging out with, West Coast, right? You know what I'm saying? Death Row, and got the thug life tatted on him. He put on the costume and he wore it well. Okay, he wore it well. He convinced me he was a thug, right? He was convincing. So Will has always had this thing. He's always felt inferior because, Jada's a street chick from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? And Will has always felt too square for her, but he picked her, right? Like Judge Judy says, you picked her, you ate the steak. There you go. Right. But he always felt like I'm not street cred enough. Right. But whatever. They're here 30 some odd years later. Got 2 weird kids. Whatever, life goes on. So she posted this video the other day and people were like, you're doing it on purpose. You're a narcissist. You're fucking with him on purpose, blah, blah. I mean, they literally set out their own mouths, bad marriage for life. But anyway, seeing as he's in the timelines again, some other videos resurfaced. And I wanted to ask you, chat and panel, what you think about what Tupac said in this video. It's an old video. I called cap right away, but we can dissect as some fluff. Okay, a little appetizer before we get into this crazy cop. So here is the video, and I found it interesting. I was like, I'd like to bring this to the block. This is interesting to me.
Can't Touch This by MC Hammer.
Okay, and why do you like that one?
Because it's raging and he's funky. Funky dance steps.
But there's parents out there listening to this that think he's serious. Why is the audience laughing? I want to ask you, why do so many people get on Hammer? I mean, the man sold 10 million records.
I'm not getting on Hammer, and I'm not going to say he did sell 10 million records, but crack fiends bought 10 million rocks. That don't mean crack is good. Don't mean nothing. Selling records don't mean nothing like that. The reason, I'm down with him because he's a brother and he's making his mail. But, however, he's diluting rap. You know what I'm saying? He's playing that Sambo role, and the reason everybody's buying his record is because he's no threat, and everybody want to see Sambo dance.
He's diluting rap. He's diluting rap.
That wasn't Tupac.
That was Pac. So he's diluting rap.
We forget that he's a Gemini male, which means you never knew what Pac you were going to get when the cameras turned on. You didn't know if he was going to put his ballerina shoes on, if he was going to spit at the camera, or if you didn't know what he was going to do. we don't know the real Pac. When I go back through the archives of Pac, you see so many different people, and I'm just like, who was he really out of all these people? Like, I still don't know, to be honest with you.
I think Tupac was the real Tupac. Probably was Will Smith, or some form of that.
I wouldn't go that far.
I think Pac was a little. You gotta be a little. Look, listen.
I wouldn't go that far.
You got to be a little squarish to agree to ballet.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You got to be a little squarish. Say, I'm gonna put on a fucking leotard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on my toes. I'm gonna do all this wild shit. I'm not coming against it. I'm not battering him for it. I'm just saying there has to be something in your makeup that says, I'm gonna do that. And you're not Monster Cody half of the time. Okay? When you feel that way. Now, Michael Jai White. You're familiar with him, Jen. Michael Jai White said that.
Yes, I am.
Michael Jai White said that he recalled that every time he was with Pac, it was just him and Pac alone, and they were talking. Said Pac was goofy as shit and nerdy as a fuck.
He looked goofy there. He looked goofy in that video, though.
He was nerdy as shit, and he said, this is out his mouth, and he said this on Vlad. He said he would notice this, and he would be like, what the fuck is he doing? His demeanor would change into the Pac that he sold every time somebody else would come into the room.
I can see that.
So Pac had his own identity issues.
Right.
And that's the irony of Will Smith having an issue with Tupac, because it's like you have an issue with a man who didn't even know who he was.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know if it was an identity issue or not. I think it sounds like he knew what sold. And so he had that persona like a wrestler, like the old days when people thought wrestling was real. And the bad guys would have a beer together behind the scenes, but they couldn't be seen together out in the street because they were supposed to be arch enemies. So, you're just playing a part.
When in Rome.
Yeah, but here's the thing, No Saint. Those wrestlers knew how to shut it off. Tupac's willingness to follow this persona is the reason why he got, he was essentially taken out. He got involved in a situation that really didn't have anything to do with him. Led to something else. I'm not going to speak on the whole situation, but I'm saying though, if it's a character, no one to shut it off.
So I want to also bring in something else about that video. I remember this because, we're all music fans up here, right? And especially back then, I was all into the magazines and the interviews and all of that stuff. And this was around the beginnings of that type of talk and that type of conversation in hip hop, where they would challenge your street credibility and your ability to rap. Because remember that this was like during the rise of gangster rap.
Correct.
And so they started coming but are we forgetting that he started out in Digital Underground?
I remember.
As a dancer.
Right?
As
a dancer. Okay. But then when he got on Death Row, like you said, he had to follow this persona because at this point now, gangster rap is taken over and everything else is corny. So if you're not rapping about what's going on in the hood, then it started to become less and less room for the different aspects of hip hop. And honestly, I feel like that was the beginning of where we're at now. Because now there is no variety in hip hop. Everything is just hood talk or pussy talk from the girls, right? In the mainstream. And I remember that was around that time where all of that started, right? They didn't start eliminating them then. Well, kind of, because they got rid of Hammer, but it got the window got less and less room for variety in hip hop.
Right. Welcome, Mr. Research. Can you fix your frame for me? I don't know. This is real easy, man. It's real easy. Thank you, sir. Salute to you. Welcome back to the block. I do want to say this before I pass the mic to Mr. Research. the irony of what Tupac said when he said that a hammer was diluting rap made it sound like he had no idea what rap was. We all remember when rap started, what they were talking about, right? We all remember that, right? How it was like pop music for the hood. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, it was very move the crowd. Yes, it was.
It was very, you know what I mean? It wasn't about people killing each other. It wasn't about women selling ass. It was about none of that. So I found it funny that Tupac said Hammer was diluting rap when Hammer was actually doing a type of rap that rap had always been.
Yes.
So I was like, what is he talking about? Passing the mic, Mr. Research, what say you?
I just want to say one thing before you say something, Mr. Research. The real problem that people had with rap, with Hammer, especially at that time, because rap was still very militant, and white people weren't scared of motherfucking Hammer. So if white people weren't scared of you back then, you were considered selling.
He was selling Taco Bell. He was selling Taco Bell.
Also, the white people weren't scared. White people laugh at shit like that. I don't even know where that theory came from. First of all, white people didn't live anywhere where Tupac and NWA lived. Let's put that on the table first. But the whole white people ain't scared. What the fuck are you talking about, Pac? Respectfully, respect the dead and all that. But what the fuck were you talking? What white people were scared of you? Like the people in the elevator, getting on the elevator with you? Who are these white people?
There was that white woman who held her purse when I was 13.
That lady. Yeah,
okay.
She counts.
It must have been. All right, Mr. Research, what say you about that clip before we get into the meat and taters of tonight?
Well, thank you for allowing me back. I love this 3-on-1 session that be going on over here. I've been in other areas, and I missed the 3 versus 1 stuff. So
who's the 3 versus 1? Because I have no idea.
Oh, Lily always with you, no matter what.
And
then,
girl
occasional
power.
Haran, the occasional Haran.
So it's me, Haran, and Lily against who?
Oh, no. You and Lily are one person. And then the occasional Haran. So, but I love the ability to have these conversations, man. I love the ability. So
we love having you.
Here's the thing. Lily made great points. I'm from the town. I'm from the Bay Area.
Okay.
So some of the things you guys are saying are correct. So let's be clear on one thing. Like this weekend, we're having our Oakland Hood annual celebration, which is our oldest Black high school reunion. Guinness Book refuses to pick it up, but we are the oldest. We've been doing this probably since 1920 or something like that, because we got people who are very old who are still coming to our high school reunion. But it is McClimate's Mac high school reunion, and Hammer many a times is there. Along with some other hood stars like Fillmore Slim, who graduated from Mac, and the whole nine. And you'll see a lot of our NBA people come back. So I say all that to say this. It's funny Pac would say something like that, because Hammer's actually harder than Pac.
I've heard.
I've heard.
Hammer's phone calls. Yeah, hey, or get at you right where you at. Hammer can hang with the hood dudes, no issue. I saw Hammer last year at our reunion. Ain't no bodyguards around that cat. Never been like that. The other thing is, so yeah, Pac, when he came out here from up north, he was like, "What's up, Jen?" That's who he was. You know what I'm saying? One of my homies made a beat for him, "Keep Your Head Up." That was my introduction to Pac. I see him walk around Alameda College, you know. I'm like, but it's the same thing with Mace. Same thing when Mace wasn't like that. So a lot of the things you guys are saying are very valid. It wasn't until Pac started hanging around with and I tell one of the members of Digital Underground, Money B. I tell Money B this all the time, every time I see him. Money B made Tupac. Money B was a 5'2" brother out of Berkeley. He had all the women. I mean, he
5'2".
Money B had.
Did you miss? Did he go to Berkeley? You said.
Yeah, he went to Berkeley High School.
It's like, see, that's all. Oh, Berkeley High School, not the University of Berkeley.
Yeah. But it's 17 blocks up the street from the university.
Yeah. I was gonna say she said 5'2". I said, but then he said he went to Berkeley, so you got to measure that because Berkeley's
Money B had
geniuses.
All the women, just everybody in the town knew that, man. And when Pac would see how they would interact with him, he was thrown because Pac originally came with all this, hey, my queen, hey. That ain't how Digital Underground was doing. Shock G might do that, but the rest of Digital Underground, they wasn't doing that. And so I'm gonna end my point by saying, yeah, it's kind of like the same thing with Prodigy over at Mobb Deep. Cats is how they is. I just think that when Haran makes the point of really ain't about that lifetime. He didn't say that, but really ain't about that lifetime. That's a lot of people in hip hop, man. A lot of people in hip hop is like that. And dudes live in this fantasy world, but really, are you going to make it to the GAT? Because your homeboy's trying to hit me, not you. Your homeboy's trying to sucker punch me, not you. I got to go through 2-3 dudes just to get to you as you backing up. You ain't really that cat. So it's a lot of that goes on, man. So shout out to that. I defend Hammer to the fullest because I've seen it.
I just think it was the push of to their own detriment, a certain demographic, just pushing that, if it wasn't violent, if it wasn't threatening to white people, then it wasn't hip hop. And that really was to the detriment of the people, not to the detriment of white people.
One more thing. And I had 2 other panels that I was on, and it was a bunch of brothers, and we was talking about that same thing. Like, we had this one idiot who was just volatile. And I broke down to the point where I said, you're more supremacist than the supremacists. You just want to be heard. You just want to fight. Well, them white people, y'all suckers for them white. You are more scared of them white people than we are. Because we was having discussions of the upper level brothers and then the lower level. But I said, we ain't scared of these white people. We scared of you helping these white people. That's what we scared of. So, yeah, I think a lot of times dudes are caught up in this fantasy world of, you got to make these other people feel a certain type of way. No, you just got to go in there and outthink them dudes. Them dudes are not the big monster that they used to be.
I was watching the Biz Markie doc, and it's just so amazing how everyone he came in contact with, they just love this guy, And one thing about
I love Markie.
One thing about Biz that was just so dope was that he made sure to bring this element in hip hop that is just so missing now. Just everyone is just taking themselves completely, just way too seriously. And also, I also want to say one thing about Tupac. Like, I was into Tupac before he went to jail. Like, when he was, when he had Trapped and so on and so forth. I was into him before he went to jail. And people weren't like down him or whatever, but they weren't checking for him until he came out. And that controversy between him and Big, and then he got with Death Row, and then he was popping off the moment he came out, and just the whole persona and everything. That's when he became Tupac, this monster that led to, his unfortunate situation. And, and before that, prior to that, he was pretty much a lot more conscious than he was really like, on that gangster shit. He was really a lot more of a conscious brother. It was aggressive to a degree, but it was still a lot more conscious.
So I got a question. So before Pac got out of prison, like, for instance, I believe when he got out of prison, he made that California Dreamin' song because I think he had California Love. Yeah, sorry.
That was afterwards.
After he got out of prison. That was right. Is that when you're talking about? That's when he started taking off, or was he pretty popular?
Started taking off. He got with Dr. Dre, and he basically when it big in him. That's when the whole East Coast West Coast thing began to really inflate.
Was that his first major like kind of crossover? Like the white people knew about him, or did the white people know about him before that too?
No, not really. Well,
he didn't have a machine. Haran will agree to this. He didn't have a machine when it was just him and Atlantic.
Right.
It was just really him and a couple of people like Shock protecting him.
Right.
When he got with Suge and sold his soul, he was in a bona fide machine.
Gotcha.
Just like I don't think Nicki Minaj would have been Nicki Minaj if she had just stayed with Waka Flocka's mama. She went and got with Slim and became and just instant machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because all the people who stayed with Deb, they did decent, but none of them are classic. None of them are really doing anything now. They had their era. They had a little small window of time. But yeah, Nicki became something completely different when she jumped ship.
So Tupac was basically cosplaying a thug then.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of them do.
You even have Wayne's brother really speaks to it. The youngest dude, the one I don't really like. But he even speaks to it when he did the Above the Rim. No, when he hung out with Haitian Jack.
Mm-hmm.
When he hung out with Haitian Jack, trying to get a lot of editorial for his character for that Above the Rim movie, that's when it kind of took on. And that's when we started to see it different here in the Bay Area. Because he came back, like when he did the Juice movie, he was still, who he was, more conscious. Keep your head up, that type of stuff. When he came back from the Above the Rim, he was on that I Get Around. He was on that, it was something totally different.
A lot of things too. We have to keep things into perspective when it comes to rappers, especially back then. A lot of these guys were extremely intelligent. I mean, high IQ guys, man. You know what I mean? They just knew they just hung around. You just got to understand, we just hung around a lot of monkey killers and murderers and so on. So they took on that persona, and you have to think about it. A lot of these guys are like 19, 20 years old, creating these incredibly insightful bodies of work. You know what I mean? They were very intelligent. They were very articulate. A lot of them were cosplaying that street shit.
Like who would you say had a high IQ in hip hop?
Prodigy, I would say had a high.
Raz Kaz.
Yeah, Raz Kaz. Cannabis.
Oh God, yeah.
True Goy.
Nas, of course. You know what I mean?
Intelligent Hoodlum.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Kane, like all these dudes.
A lot of cats.
No, they were still.
I would listen to how they put words together, and I'm like, you can't be an idiot to put these. Like, I would never think of this, as opposed to when I listen to the radio now, I'm like, this just sounds like they just got fucked up and just blah blah, but listening back then, it was just like, how did they put this shit together? This is genius.
Do you think Eminem has a high IQ?
I think Eminem is good at what he does.
Yeah, he's good at what I wouldn't call it a high IQ. I haven't seen examples outside of music to give him
right.
I haven't.
Because that's like
that about Kanye West. I wouldn't say that about Kanye West.
Yeah,
I have not heard anything insightful out that man's mouth.
Because like that'd be like
slavery was a choice.
Well, ironically, you don't really want to say that.
That's hilarious.
You're going to say some shit and you sign a contract, but that's butt fucking you for millions. You don't really want to say something like that.
You know what's crazy about Kanye, and just on a political level, because it's the same thing that Russell Brand's going through. Mm-hmm. You can pop that ish until the opposition comes against you, and I want to see you keep popping that ish. And don't switch up, and that's Kanye's problem. He says it when ain't nothing but doves and peace and clouds in the air. Do that when you under pressure. Do that when Kris Kardashian is stealing your catalog. Do that. If you ain't rocking like that, then come on, man, stay humble.
So you think? So you he says stay humble. So you think that eventually they shut him up?
Yeah,
Honey.
yeah, because you have to be the cat that dies on. Okay, I know how media works. What I'm saying to you guys right now can be weaponized against me 10, 20 years later. Mm-hmm. So therefore, anything I'm saying, I need to be able to defend 10, 20 years later. Mm-hmm. To Iran's point, a lot of these dudes are so in the moment, they're not strategically cognizant of, hey, look at what I'm blurting. And then later, oh no, what I meant to say, you should never, when I first took public speaking, you never, my teacher, you never put yourself in a position where you have to clarify. Never.
And I'm the person who doesn't believe in apologizing for my words. I meant that shit.
But isn't that easy? You have to be a fucking verbal tactician to never make that mistake. Like, because people grow, they change their minds. And it's easy to say, never put yourself in a position where you got to explain yourself. But I could think something now, you know what I mean? I used to be religious. I look back at some of my posts on Facebook and I cringe. Absolutely. I'm like, who is that person? Who is that woman? What the fuck? Who was that? Right? And that happens, you know what I mean, to people. I hate that they're using, tweets and messages and music from 10, 20, 30 years ago, right? To qualify a person in 2023. It's ridiculous. We change. We change by meeting somebody.
Right.
Well, no, I agree. I agree. They do that. You'll see them pull up something from 25 years ago, from a celebrity or something. And, oh, look, trying to cancel somebody. And I'm like, yeah, that's tacky. But, 25 years ago, a lot of people were doing that. And like you said, if we had to be held, that's what the young people probably don't understand. They will in about 10 or 15 years. If we had to be held to the standard that we thought when we were 15, 20 years old to today. And look what Jen said, like you said, on your post or whatever. I mean, I cringe sometimes when I see something come up. Let me see and sometimes I'll look and I'll be like, well, okay, it wasn't, okay, that was all right.
No, all my shit is canceled shit, all of it.
Right.
No, I'm just saying, like, how dumb am I going to sound in this statement? And then I read, I'm like, okay, that was all right. I made it through that one. But I'm just saying. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. It's ridiculous, but he's right that people will try to dig something up, like, and cut Jen, they'll cut your audio and they'll make it sound a certain way and bring it out of context and everything.
They'll take sound bites and all that. I'm just speaking to doing that years later without even asking the person, hey, we found this from 1983. Do you still feel this way? Like, they don't even, you know what I mean? Like, ask.
That's what real journalism was. That's what real journalism was.
Correct.
And Mr. Research,
when Dick Cheney changed the law to allow Australian Fox News to come over to our shores and pump that nonsense, because Dick Cheney changed that. Used to get sued for putting that stuff out. Open-ended, circular, could be maybe conversation in a tabloid fashion. Used to get sued for that. But Dick Cheney, let me go ahead, rock out.
No, I was just gonna say, I want to give a quick example of, and the problem is you have people that aren't looking for not looking to frame it in what it was meant to be. They look to frame it to make somebody. So an example is they try to, Howard Stern is never going to get canceled, but they brought up a picture of him and Robin, and he was in blackface. But he was making fun of Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg. You know what I mean? Oh, look, Howard Stern, he was in blackface. He was making fun of Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg, who happened to be doing that. It was a picture about 20 years ago. So they didn't have any context to why he was dressed like that. They just said, oh, he needs to be canceled. So,
well, here's the thing. I totally agree with all of you. But here's the thing. When you have a podium, when you have the mic, you have power. And the first thing that commoners try to do when you got power is take that motherfucking shit from you. They try to knock you down a couple of pegs down to where they are. So yeah, if they got footage of you on stage when you were fucking 7 misspelling Mississippi and you shit your fucking pants when you did it. They're gonna make sure that the whole fucking world sees that fucking video. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. It's fucked up, but it's just the way it is in the world of sensationalism. This whole thing has become one non-stop, constant reality TV show.
Mm-hmm. But it's happening so much that it doesn't have the effect that it did a couple years ago, because it's happening too much, and you can't cancel everybody, or you won't have you won't have an entertainment industry. You won't have an entertainment industry. You can't cancel anybody. And regarding the blackface, I'm going to say something that hopefully maybe in 5 or 10 years they bring it up so I could explain it again. But I just find it very, very funny when Black people are sensitive to, like, oh, you said nigger, oh, there was blackface, when Black people are the most evil people to other Black people. The most evil.
I just got the phone talking about this.
Evil.
I just got the phone talking about this.
I've never seen the hate and the vitriol, okay, that Black people have for other Black people. Okay, I know there's this scary white man under the bed that's supposed to be getting all of us. However, I've never seen the level of hate and vitriol, okay, exhibited every single day. From physical violence to tearing down someone's whole fucking career. They don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. It's horrible.
They don't give a fuck.
Well, you know, to your point, and I in an effort to help Black people, I put myself on the chopping block. I think being from the hood and saying this is important, because somebody from the block, this wouldn't hit right. So I tell a lot of dudes specifically, when you look at the stuff some of us, many of us, not all of us do, it's very Ku Klux Klanish.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't just you critiquing. It ain't, to your point, Jen, you're supposed to have some discipline on the moves that you make. And when you popping off, just creating chaos, you looking for wars. And at the same time, you want Black protection. So on my channel, I started doing something. This is not Black pride. And what I do is I take sections of just over the top crime where you know you out of bounds. Yet when you get caught, you want to be Black again. That is ridiculous to me. And a lot of people do it, Africans included. And it's and I'm gonna end by saying this. I was reading something that the French king, Louis IV, was talking about for Black people. And he wrote something called Code Noir. He said, Africans have this mentality. This goes to what you say, Jen, where they want to police other Blacks more than fight us. He wrote that before the Berlin Conference, before the people came and renamed Africa. And it's true to this day. It's a melanated problem where you want to fight another person who looks like you, but then you little boy up when this group of Chinese come over here, or this group of Jews come over here. It's just ridiculous. And I say that, and I know I'll get smoke for it, but I say it because we got to be more honest about what's really going on. You can call me names and whatever, you know, but if you just sit down and hold that conversation with me, you will see that we are consistently doing that Ku Klux nonsense, and you can't explain it to me. I was on the panel, we was doing that same thing, and the brothers yelling and yelling and yelling, 18 minutes of yelling, and everybody on the panel's like, you making Mr. Researcher's point. You are the enemy right now on this panel. But go ahead, I'll pass the mic.
Welcome, Brother Ish. Before we pass the mic to Brother Ish, Lilia, can you elaborate? Because you said, I was just talking about this earlier. Can you elaborate on the conversation you were having?
Yeah, so right before the show, I was having this conversation about the Ku Klux Black people, right? And
the Ku Klux Black,
like it's crazy, right? Growing up, I grew up male as a feminine gay male, and like I'm like, hey guys, I'm Black. They were like, you know, they didn't give a fuck, right? And it was like my biggest threat. And I was telling somebody this before. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of times when a Black trans person or Black feminine gay person gets around a masculine black man, they clam up automatically out of trauma. This is not spooky white man trauma. This is real trauma from their life growing up. Like, and then, my favorite argument that everyone wants to go, well, it's proximity, because they just assume if you're black, you grew up around all black people. And for some of us, including me, that's not the case, right? So I have grown up around a multitude of people, including black people. So there was everybody in the pot, right? But the only people in the pot that will fuck with you was other black people, right? Then I've lived in all black neighborhoods. Nightmare, right? I don't even like living in all white neighborhoods, right? I like to live in more neighborhoods that are a little bit more balanced.
Yep.
But even when I'm in an all white neighborhood, they still don't fuck with me.
Brother Ish.
I'll pass the mic. I'm just coming in a little early, so I'm just a little robust.
I was like, let's see what you
I heard I'm dipping in and out. I had a few comments about Tupac because I've interacted with a few of these individuals, and I vehemently disagree with your opinion, Haran, about cannabis. He's an idiot. I know him personally. He was just a nerd that took the time to learn how to rap, but beyond all that, he was an absolute clown. I had an artist signed to the same label. So
he was an idiot. He might have made some dumb choices. He made some vehemently dumb choices. I actually know people who know him as well. Yes. And he was arrogant as fuck. And he has himself to blame for where he is right now. However, to sit there and say that gentleman is an idiot. No, he's not. He has an immense technical prowess. And it takes a high degree of intellectual knowledge to know that. Now, that is book smarts. Life smarts, that motherfucker was dumb as a post. He couldn't read a room. He didn't really know how to interact with people. So in terms of life smarts, in terms of that, his EQ, he was an idiot. But in terms of his
he was socially awkward. Absolutely correct.
He was socially awkward.
Absolutely
correct. His EQ, he was inept. But intellectually, you know what I mean? I've actually seen him speak. I know of his knowledge on certain things, his technical prowess on certain things. No, he's not an idiot in that realm. He's actually incredibly astute.
Well, let me say this, and just because I don't want to digress the conversation to a whole nother level, because we can expound on that for days. But I think if you look at anybody, I would say like the Shock Lees were really some of the more profound intellectual giants in the game, just in their sciences of the manipulation of sound and how it affected the mind and the body. So there's a lot of strong intelligentsia that existed within the hip hop realm. I think, even the description of how Jay-Z climbed his ladder of success is a reflection of his intellect and his upbringing. But that's, again, we could go down a pathway of a conversation on that. That's not really what we're speaking on.
But absolutely. But I just want to, bring back to the point that you made. You essentially gave me my argument, because basically the two people that you just named had a much higher EQ than cannabis had. They had a much higher understanding of how people operate, people think. As a matter of fact, if you are if you have a high understanding of sound and how people respond to it, you have to have a high degree of understanding people in general and their emotions. Now, Jay-Z, another individual, the swag, the movement, the so on and so forth, people skills, basically. He knew how to draw people in. He wasn't socially awkward, but he was also very intelligent in many other areas. So, absolutely. Yes, those two people that you just named, those are examples of people where you can go very far in this life if you have a high EQ and a generally high IQ.
And I think the strength of Jen's question, how we got here, if I can just referee this moment, is that Jen and people outside of the black male experience, we don't see enough of the black male community highlighting what the three of us are talking about. And what gets oversaturated is the Stephen Fetchits on the microphone. You know what I'm saying? Because Stephen Fetchit is the new thing, anything for $1, and then you get the $1, and then you become the clown asking for black protection. That's ridiculous. So
I mean, that's the playbook from back into going back to the sex infested, the catfish. Absolutely, no. I know I'm concurring with what you're saying. I'm in agreement with what you're saying. I'm saying that is the playbook. That playbook has always been utilized, and it's continually recycled.
So I guess that's your answer, Jen, is that there's a lot of brothers. We're just not at the forefront. And then when we do go to the forefront, the goofy dudes want to come and try to attack. Like I remember when Jay was doing this thing. Remember, it was a cross against hip hop to be 28 and trying to get into hip hop. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of us was like, you got country singers that start at 60. You got EDM people that start at 40. What are you talking about? Why? Right.
So does it sound? It sounds to me like so. What are we saying here? Are we saying that Black people are a bigger enemy to Black people than white people are? At the end of the day,
that's what I was about to say. I was about to say, I try to have the courage to go into Black male spaces and say what a lot of people are not able to say. We handcuff and police each other way too much. Way too much.
I mean, we see it on here.
Jen. Back to you.
We see it on here, right? Because we have some really good debates on here where we disagree, we get passionate, but we respect each other, right? And what happens then? We'll see in the comments, like people will be upset because we're not tearing each other apart.
Yep.
And I'll look at the I'll look at the picture, and it's a Black face sitting on there getting mad because Black people are not tearing each other apart.
Literally.
This happens every time.
Yeah. And when they can't get us to fight, they try to get the white guy to separate. We've seen this. They tried to couple up or make the white guy an ally so they can go against us with the white guy. And this is Black people doing this. It's happened here several times.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, the community is diseased with self-hate. I mean, that's we know that it's a clear, symptom and illness that exists within the Black community, and it's reinforced by elements of white supremacy. But that's where we are. We're on autopilot, like Dr. Khaled says. We're remote control Negroes. All we got to do is drop it in the water, and the ripple effect, takes place. So
here's the thing. And this is good that the three of us brothers are here to have this conversation with y'all. Ish, is it really self-hate or is it lack of discipline? No. Let me rock with this just for 30 seconds. Is it really our cultural coming back from the days of, or is it we don't have mouth control? So the problem with the Black male community, and I'm on them, more detailed. The Black male community wants respect, but wants to keep being childish. Now, if Jen say that, they get on her. If Saint says that, they get on her. Lily say that, they get on her. I'm going to say it because it needs to be said to help us as Black males get better. We have this uncontrollable, childish need to mouth off and then hide behind Haran, and we're going to gang up on Ish if he says something. That is a discipline issue. But go ahead. You got the mic, bro.
Overall, I will wait 1 second, Ish. Overall, I will say that yes, it is a discipline issue. And discipline, you become disciplined when you let go of emotion. A lot of people ask me, well, how do I find the motivation to do X, Y, Z? You don't. Because motivation is temperamental, motivation is seasonal. Discipline is repetition. Discipline is habit. Discipline is every day. You get up regardless of however the fuck you feel, and you do it. Black men are not disciplined. There's not this line that says, regardless of how I feel in this moment, regardless of whatever, what have you, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and I'm going to make sure that I'm a pillar of my community. I'm a pillar of honor. I'm a pillar of dignity. We don't have that. We don't have that. We got, if a nigga say something wrong, I wish a nigga would, and I'll fuck everybody up in here. That's pretty much our ethos. If you open up the book of Black men, it's pretty much those three lines right there. That's pretty much it.
So I have a question.
Hold on. He directed the question to me, so let me respond.
There was a question to you?
Yeah, okay. He directed Mr. Research directed it to me. Haran answered it. But you know, it is self-hate is the root of is the root failure of the ability to discipline. When you have self-hate, you don't have the desire to discipline. You don't have a goal oriented towards saying there's a brighter future or goal ahead. The reason why you want to do something that you don't like to do in repetition for is because you're goal oriented in relationship to your perspective. So you know, nobody likes lifting weights and they don't enjoy the pain of it, but there's a goal attached at the end of the rainbow. So if you hate yourself and you don't think that you can ever achieve this goal, and you don't believe that it's even possible, you lack the discipline.
I vehemently disagree. I vehemently disagree because you can just be lazy. Like, I'm not going to fucking work out. I can get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I don't have to go to the fucking gym to do this. Who does this? Who has time for this? I don't have to have, first, I love a gym, but I'm saying generally, I could just be lazy. It doesn't have to be self-hate. It could just be like, I'm not fucking going to the gym. I live a fine life. I go to work. I come home. I eat my sandwich. I fuck my woman. And I go get up and do it the next day. Who cares? There's a lot of men out there like that. I think with you specifically is you're always trying to tie it back to self-hate. To you is synonymous with white supremacy. It always goes back to the white man. It always goes back to no saint. Right? So when you say self-hate reinforced by white supremacy, I really want to know if you guys will allow me, the T-Rexes that were just talking. I'm just stepping in a little bit with my little, hi, I'm down here, guys. If you will allow me, what do you mean by self-hate reinforced by white supremacy? What is this? Because I hear white supremacy and I hear scary white man under my bed, scary white man in my closet. Ain't nobody scared of no saint. Okay.
Well, I'm not. Okay. Go ahead.
George is, you know what I mean? He's racist light, has a lot of guns, he's from Florida. I'm not scared of him. So it's like, who is this white monster under the bed that it always goes back to the white supremacy? I want you to explain that to me. Self-hate reinforced by white supremacy. What white supremacy is reinforcing this self-hate? It's like, it's going back to what Mr. Research said. Are you a fucking grown man or not? Are you a grown man or are you a puppet that moves however the white man moves you? Are you a man, an adult male or not? Because if you keep telling me that everything you do is because of white supremacy, or everything you're not doing or achieving is because of white supremacy, then you are a child and you are the white man's son. You are his son. If someone is controlling me, self-hate or not, whatever they put in my head, I am their subordinate. And you speak about white supremacy the way I would speak about my 7-year-old grandson. I said, you go over there. Why, Grandma? Because I said so. Because I run shit here. Because I pay the bills. Because I said so. You talk about black men, and not just you, I'm speaking in general. A lot of people do, like they're children at the mercy of white supremacy. Children. And it's quite honestly disgusting. It's just disgusting to me. Because we're talking about adults. And I'll pass the mic because you know me, I get fucking long-winded.
So before he jumps in, let me just say quickly, I think, bro, the reason why she's asking for clarifying statements, because it comes off as waxing poetic. You know, it's you know, the presentation you gave, it was really artsy, because as she's saying, when it comes down to it and the enemy is at your front gate, you don't have the ability to say some of these wax poetic type of statements. It's like you have to look at it from the standpoint of, if we as black men can go to women in a sexual and relationship fashion and say, hey, I'm the leader, I'm the man, hey, be submissive, then that means that everything you address, your job, your decision to leave your job, your religion, whatever, it has to have that same type of mindset. If not, then it comes across like, well, the circumstances have now caused me to. No, it shouldn't work like that. But I'm interested to hear your clarifying thing as well, Ish.
I love that. But before we welcome James Ogle, fix your frame for me, darling. I love what Mr. Research said, because and I promise I won't be long-winded, but I just want to address something that he said. It's true, when a man is going to a woman, I'm assuming he's going to a woman with the idea of, I'm going to lead you. I'm going to be head of household, right? But when I'm outside in the world, I'm subordinate to the white guy because, white supremacy. Those two things cannot coexist. This is why this is why women are so fucking disrespectful to black men, and black men hate it. But I'm like, if you're either a subordinate or a leader, how can those two things coexist? It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't take a race war for a black man to be like, no, I'm in charge of my shit. Ain't nobody supreme over me. I'm in charge of my shit. I take care of my shit, take care of my family, take care of my community. I take care of my shit. How could you be a leader of a woman and then subordinate to the white man's gonna get me? And I don't mean, when I say I'm not scared of Nosy, I'm not scared of George, I don't say it. I'm not saying it in a way where it's like, oh, let's have a race. So I'm saying it in a way where I don't think about white people in my day ins and day outs. I don't think about, oh my God, let me go get this bank loan. Oh my God, but the white man's gonna be there. What's I gonna do if the white man's gonna be there, right? Let me go buy this house. Well, what's I gonna do? I can't buy this house. The white man's gonna be there. Let me go get this job. Let me ask for this job. I can't go do that. The white man's is gonna be there. That's what I hear when I hear white supremacy. I'm sorry. And now pass the mic.
So let me qualify this so that we're very clear. Whenever I'm referencing it, I'm talking about the sociological dynamics. I'm not saying that this so-called boogeyman, because in our teachings, in the nation's teachings, they say with these teachings, you will have the white man wrapped around your pinky. And I understand that dynamic. So when I'm pointing out what's affecting the masses and how we perceive things, just like we've made references on this panel that the white man's water is wetter, that his ice is colder. There is a perspective and a mind state that exists within our community that we cannot deny. Even when we speak about white people in certain sectors or certain segments of our community, some of our own people sit down and go, well, the white folks ain't gonna. That's a mentality. So I'm addressing a mentality, not so much so that it's a dominant figure in my life. What I'm identifying is the dynamics, just like the doll study. There are aspects to our perspective that have been influenced over the years that we still kind of perceive a certain reality. It may not be individualistic, that this individual doesn't feel that way, or you don't feel that way, or I don't feel that way. But we know that in as a cultural nuance living in America, there is a dynamic of subtle subservience that happens. You can't say this, or the white folks are going to get you. You can't walk in with a Fight the Power t-shirt at your job and that not be a factor, while they can walk in with another t-shirt that represents, if you walked in with the Who on a t-shirt, they were like, oh, you're culturally nuanced. Oh, wow, you're a heavy dude because you're into the Who. Like, there's different dynamics that exist within our culture. So when I'm identifying it, I'm not identifying it as this all-powerful boogeyman. I'm identifying it for the affect that it is on the masses of the people. When I talk about the doll study, just a quick reference to that, is that study where you see the little children that look at the black doll and see that black doll is dirty. That's the dynamics of self-hate. That a child sees an image of itself, but sees it automatically negatively. And that's because there's constantly images that are pushed and laid out in front of us that this is better, that's not better. And we see it in the film industry, we see it in entertainment, we see it in the music business. So we can't deny that that's a reality. That's all I'm saying.
All that is 25% true. But I guess what Haran, myself, and Jen would suggest is sprinkle a little bit of black pepper of balance, that some of these people are just not the warriors that they claim they are. Sprinkle that in there with it. You know what I'm saying? Because everything you saying is true, but you're saying the same thing 10 times within the same paragraph. You gotta respectfully sprinkle in a little of the fact that some of these dudes who claim that they pimps and players ain't pimps and players. Some of these dudes who claim that they are black power or to be respected ain't really those dudes. They cowards that hang in mobs. Let me say it one more time. They cowards that hang in mobs and chase down innocents. So we got to sprinkle a little of that. That's just a suggestion.
No, I concur with you on that. I mean, and that's an aspect that, you know, because if we just look through the timeline of history and where we are as a people at this point, even just in manhood and our self-identity of masculinity, we are not really clear on the true definition of a man and what a man does. And I say this to the brothers all the time, and I'm a lieutenant in the nation, and I've said this before. So I'm responsible for teaching and training the private soldier. A man does not allow drugs in his community. A man does not allow crime to take place in his community. A man does not allow that. A male, a boy, will allow that to take place and say, I can't do nothing because he's just trying to get his money. So we are still not really clear on really having enough examples of true manhood and masculinity, or we would be taking over and changing the conditions of our community at a drop of a dime.
Respectfully, this is one of my major issues I have with you. You constantly wax poetic about the burning building. We all notice the building's on fire. We are fully aware of what fire can actually do to the perimeter around said burning building. What we're saying is that, is anyone going to call the firemen? Is everyone just going to stand around and look at the burning building, hoping that the next person actually does something? We're talking about solutions. How do we get to the point where we no longer have as many burning buildings? What do we need to do there? And one of the things that we were talking about is, first, there has to be some degree of discipline. Things cannot change on a macro level until they begin on a micro level.
You know, and to add to that, sorry, James, just to add to that, I guess in the standpoint of what Haran is saying, in conjunction with me and maybe Jen, I'm gonna put on my Jen ladies hat for just a second and take their argument. I'm about to drop a bomb, a real bomb. To your point, Ish, shouldn't a man be more knowledgeable about this world than his woman? Shouldn't a man be more intellectually aware about the constructs of the systems that he has to deal with more so than his woman? So if that is true, we have so many dudes who are just enough brothers. We have so many dudes who can't get past the I work with my hands concept. They haven't even, what is a husband? A manager of the family. But you got dudes scared to be a manager at their job. So a lot of the things that you're saying percentage-wise are true. But to Haran's point, there's no sprinkles of, as he says, solutions. And the black man needs honesty at this point. We always talking about this unicorn that got teeth and he's a dragon. And all that is probably true. But to Haran's point, can somebody draw a map to how to kill him? Can somebody draw a map to how to capture him? We never allow ourselves to get to that part of the discussion respectfully.
So to retort or respond, I don't always proselytize on this program because I just want to be able to, engage in dialogue, and I don't necessarily use this platform to kind of like push the nation's program, other than, inserting concepts and ideas and perspectives. But ultimately, in my personal opinion, and that's why I'm actively involved in it, I believe the nation's program is what is needed. There's an aspect to discipline. There's an aspect to spirituality, if need be. There's an aspect to a political agenda. There's an aspect to an economic program. There's a dietary program. There's a holistic program that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad created that, in my opinion, and those that I'm in alignment with is the counterpoint to all the aspects that ail the community. So that's, you know, I allow it to speak for itself. Then I stand around waving the nation's flag more so than just being an example of what it produces to some degree.
So let's not be long-winded because James has been waiting. So, but I do want to ask you, how long have you been in the nation, just generally?
Since 1989.
Do you feel like it's turned you into a disciplined man, a hardworking man, a man that's a good husband? Do you think that, are you saying that it worked for you? If not for the nation, you'd be out on the street slinging crack or something?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you think that the problem is self-hate, not that Black men lack self-determinism? Because I think it's lack of self-determinism. I don't think it's self-hate. I think it's lack of self-determinism. I don't think it's self-hate. I don't think it's the white boogeyman under the bed. I think it's self-determinism. That's what I think.
Let me respond, and now James, you
okay, just don't be long-winded because we coming up on
I won't be long-winded. Okay, once you remove, and I've seen this with many brothers from different walks of life, once you remove a lack of a negative self-image, you can then start working on developing the self-determination. And I've seen it happen from gangbangers to drug addicts to alcoholics to whomever. I've hands-on seen the change. So once you change your self-identity, you can start seeing somebody making a better steps towards a brighter future. Self-improvement is the basis of community development.
So then we're talking about a man-child. We're talking about man-children.
Absolutely.
Talking about a man-child. So collectively, Black men are children, which is the same thing Mr. Research said. Except when he says it in a deeper voice, it sounds better, I guess.
No, I mean,
let James opine. He's been waiting for a while patiently. James Oko, welcome back to the block. What say you, sir?
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
We good.
Yeah, I won't be here for long. So if later on I just dip out, I'll go ahead and say bye now.
Okay.
But as far as the Black male argument, I mean, I think everybody's made good points. It all starts with family. We need to restore the Black family, okay? And I'm not talking about dual parent households where we take a kid and play human frisbee every other weekend with it. I'm talking about a mom, a dad, a mother, a wife and a husband in the household together. That's why when I get on the panel, I preach family so much. So it's all going to start with the family. It's all going to start with, and I know you didn't like this last time, yes, taking back our communities, keeping the money in our communities. I think the Black dollar stays in the community for what, maybe 6 minutes before it's out of here, with a home ownership rate of less than 47%. We're hemorrhaging resources that we need to keep in our community. You know, not give it to Ak, not give it to Mei Ling at the chicken store, at the Chinese store, not give it to Bob that's renting out our Section 8 housing. We need to keep all of that in the community. And it's going to have to be a reckoning within ourselves when it comes to that. As far as the Black male image, you know, and Black men, it's funny because you called Black men, you said, oh, they're children, man-child. Earlier, Mr. Research was speaking to, you know, Black male masculinity, and it kind of wraps into even what Lily was speaking of earlier. I kind of wanted to touch on that when she was talking about her experience in the community, you know, and I would never invalidate your experience, you know, as a, you know, transgender woman. You know, homophobia is a problem in the community, but and it kind of goes back to, you know, when you were saying are Black men the most homophobic? Let's not pretend like, well, I'll say this. Martin Luther King went to Memphis and he marched with the sanitation workers and they held signs that said, I am a man. And the reason they held signs that said, I am a man is because Black male masculinity has always been under attack since the day we showed up here. Okay, in order to dehumanize somebody, in order to enslave a people, you first have to dehumanize them. Okay, you first have to assassinate their character. Okay, so it's been an ongoing assassination of Black male character that leads all the way up until today. People love to shame Black men, but as far as Black male masculinity, let's not pretend as far as like, I just want to say, like, Lily, when you were saying, you know, it's only Black men that act this way, you know, when you're walking through the neighborhoods, and it's only Black men who are homophobic to me, which is horrible. And you should never have to experience that. But let's not pretend like homophobia is not a weapon that's pointed directly at Black men in order to shame them and destroy their image. As soon as any Black man achieves any sort of power in this country, whether that be Barack Obama, whether that be Will Smith, whether that be Jamie Foxx, whether that be P. Diddy, it's almost like a rite of passage for them to be accused of being on the down low, of being homosexual. Whenever any Black man achieves any sort of power in this country, his image is attacked. And
by who?
Okay, here we go. So no, here's the main thing. So let's not pretend that as soon as a Black man says something that Black men and Black women don't like, they're gonna attack his sexuality. So if homophobia
By who though?
By Black women in the greater society in general.
So Black people.
The feminization of Black men, we don't have to go into that. You know, before Will Smith could be in Independence Day, he had to be in 6 degrees of separation. Before Jamie Foxx could be Ray Charles, he had to be whatever her name is on In Living Color. You get my point. So what I'm saying is, let's not pretend
literally like 17 years.
Let's not pretend like homophobia is not a weapon that's used against Black men, and then we play dumb as to why Black men are homophobic.
But hold on, who is it by? These are Black men attacking Black men.
No. Black men didn't know. Women called.
So how often do you hear of a trans person attacking a Black man physically? How often?
Oh, I don't think he was talking about physically.
Okay, so how often? Okay, so how often do you hear of us walking down the street and verbally attacking a Black man?
None. It's not a high percentage.
But how often? But how often do you hear of a heterosexual Black man attacking a Black man, physically or verbally?
All the time.
No, this is
all
we're
the
time. About a specific. We're moving to go.
I'm talking about the same thing you're talking about.
No. Actually, you're not.
No, I am. I am. I know what I'm talking about. He's talking about specifically homophobia, right? So if you go online, if you go in the streets, it is heterosexual Black people attacking each other.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So James, I'm gonna give it to you.
It is because what you all like to do is conflate LGBT. Hold on. This is what you all like to do. You all like to conflate LGBTQ, which is an extension of white supremacy, with Black issues. Those are two different issues. Okay? So, yes, true. LGBTQ people, yes, they do attack Black people because that's an extension of Black and white supremacy. That has nothing to do with Black people. Black people who are queer are Black first. You all conflate that issue. We don't.
Okay. Before you do, James, James' topic was shaming. I think when he presented the back end element, now the back end element becomes the primary. So maybe he shouldn't have put that back end element in there, but his initial premise was shaming. But go ahead, you two. I'm gonna mute myself.
So this is
small in my frame.
Yeah, right. This is not me. I am not being adversarial with the LGBT community, Transformers, or any of the like. That's not what this is about. What I was talking about was
Did you have to say
homophobic.
Transformers?
What?
Did you have to
He
say
had
Transformers?
he had to get it
Yeah,
in.
you
He
did
had to
it
get.
again,
But see,
James.
this is what I'm talking about.
Wait,
This
wait, wait,
is
wait,
the
wait.
exhibit A always shows up.
Wait, but wait a minute. You just wait a minute. You just did what you accused other people of doing. That was weird.
This is what I say.
That was
You
weird.
proved my
This is why I
point.
call you a coward and a punk.
Wait a minute.
Because
Let's
you
not
do
go.
coward
Wait,
punk
wait,
shit.
wait, hold on. Let's not go there. I'm just saying you came up to complain that Black men are emasculated, right? Regarding their sexual preference, and then you went and you did it. That was weird.
Listen to me for 1 second, please. I
We
literally
did.
just changed that word just to not get your stream flagged. That's why I did that. It's not derogatory. It's not
Transgender does not get anyone's stream flagged. Transgender does not get anyone's
Stand on your shit. Just
stream
stand on your shit, James.
flagged.
Because you're allowed to be homophobic. You know that, right? You're allowed to be homophobic.
You smiled a little when you said Transformers.
Right.
No,
Stop it.
Stop it. You're laughing now. Stop it. Cut it out.
James,
Hold on
stand
1 second.
on your shit. Like I don't like you're allowed to be homophobic and you're allowed to be ignorant. But also understand you will be met with pushback if you're ignorant.
Lily,
1 sec. Let me break. Commercial break. Commercial break. Thank you for the super chat. Fahim Jackson says, this weakness is linked to single parent households to me. Fathers give you the confidence to be men. Too many women raising men with no father. We spring from our mother's imagination, which is feminine.
So let me change the energy just a little bit.
Can I say something, Mr. Researcher? Why do you keep doing this every time you stop talking? Why do you keep doing that?
Because respectfully, sometimes when I see a ping pong match about to happen, I can listen and do other items, but sometimes I can tell when the ping pong match is about to happen. That's why I try to intervene in this and kind of help turn it, and then it went left again. So I said,
Okay, well let me say this. Let me say this. We totally appreciate you, but the block doesn't need a referee and it doesn't need a mediator. Just for the record. And I would prefer you stay on the screen instead of doing this because it fucking distracts me. Like you talk and then you're like, da, 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 da. And then people are talking, people are responding to you and they're responding to an avatar. And I don't think that's cool because when you address us, you're looking at us. So it would just be better.
And the last thing is because sometimes I be so into you guys' conversation and then you guys got to cut it short and go. So sometimes these ping pong matches, they eat up so much.
Okay.
But anyway, I will try be host to adhere.
Thank you. It's just my little shit. Like right now, Ish is behind the avatar. Like that shit annoys me, right? Okay. But it's just my thing. Like he's not talking right now or waiting for a response. But it's like, no, Saint, you a piece of shit, and then
okay.
And then I'm gone. And then I'm gone.
I shall endeavor.
And we appreciate you. We love you here. We really do appreciate you. I don't want to get into a back and forth about this. You know that was out of pocket, James. But I think you made your point. We have half hour left. The topic tonight was married Pennsylvania cop Ronald Davis is charged after being filmed forcibly arresting his mistress. I don't know. We can do that tomorrow and just finish this conversation with the last 30 minutes. It's up to y'all.
We might as well do it tomorrow because
let's do the cops.
You want to do the cops?
But we only got, unless we're going to go longer than.
Because we're going to end up going longer if we get on that cop. So we
could do, all right, we'll just finish this conversation, which is a great conversation. Anyway, we can do the white popo tomorrow. This is a great conversation so far, and I would like to give that white cop longer than we gave ourselves an hour and a half. I really want to drag this cop, and I need more than half an hour. I need more than half an hour.
Right. Well, if we're gonna do it tomorrow, make sure you guys research the officer that went and had sex in his car, cheating on his wife, and let's pack that.
Oh yeah.
pack those things all together because officer behavior is a very unique thing, and I'm glad we're going to talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll give it the time that
wait,
needs.
but we got to research who's this other cop he's talking about. We got to research.
The one that was caught on video.
We'll send it to you. We'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably search in YouPorn or something.
And Jim, can I apologize to the team, the panel up here? Just I have a 4-year-old that likes to engage, so periodically I have to parent. So that's why I come off camera.
NyQuil.
No, I was getting chewed out. That wasn't nothing about you.
No. I wasn't taking it that way, but I just wanted to make it clear so that there's not a perceived preference over anyone else. It's like you don't want to see me parenting. You know what I mean? Like
NyQuil.
That's good parenting. That's good parenting, right?
Right.
NyQuil and bourbon.
Come get your medicine.
No, don't do that. Nobody do that. Please, nobody do that.
No, they don't wonder why the kids are dying on the corner years later.
Please, nobody do that. Don't ever do that. Anybody, please.
Raspberry.
Please, nobody do that. That wasn't even said. I'm strike that from the record.
Wondering why your child is. Well, I like fentanyl for some reason. Yeah, well, started with NyQuil.
What would happen if we took? What would happen if we took white supremacy completely off the table? I know you brought up the doll thing, right? You brought up, you remember that experiment? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is we all know that experiment. Okay. However, if your black daughter or your black son, little kid, 5 years old, goes to school, gets teased by another little black girl or little black boy, what are you going to say to your child when they come home?
What am I going to say? I mean, again, obviously it's circumstantial, but we're all influenced or have some sort of affect to this society. So, ultimately, you never know what that child is influenced by. You can't demonize the other child. You can just empower your child and have them see themselves differently. And again, that's the work that we have to do in relationship to living in America.
Okay, no, living, period. Because if your child moved to Istanbul, there's going to be a child in Istanbul that may not like your child. Do you get where I'm going here? So when we talk about proximity, the most dangerous thing to a growing child is their proximity, not white supremacy. It's the people in their classes, the people that look like them, right? I think too much credit is given to white supremacy. Quite honestly, white people are like, have you seen the Zeus Network? We ain't got to do shit to them Negroes. Okay? So I think it's proximity. When a child is being harmed emotionally, we usually automatically uplift the child. You're beautiful. You're smart. We don't tell them the white man is out there and that's why that kid can't. We don't do that. So why as adults are we doing that? I didn't get the loan. I can't live. I can't because of the white person. Why as adults we do that? We don't do that with children.
I had a conversation with my daughter in regards to something similar to this. I essentially told her, well, people just suck, kid. People are just animals at the end of the day. Because she tried to wrap her head around the idea, like, why are people even cruel just without any kind of trigger, like just for the sake of it? And I just basically told her, like, yes, there are people in this world who are like that, and I made it race agnostic. There are just certain people in this world. However, you cannot allow these people to define who you are, to define how you live your life, and make sure that you set boundaries with these people. Whatever issues that they have with themselves are not your issues.
So
I think that's excellent. I'm sorry, really quickly. I think that's excellent advice because once you start making an entire race of people that are a majority of where your child lives, it is to the detriment of that child. Now you set your child out in the world, okay? And you're only 12, 13% of the population in the country your child is in. You just put on your child's back, okay? Fucking 90% of a fucking population on your child's back. So white people don't like me? white people are the enemy. Well, guess what? Everywhere your child goes, white people are going to be there. It is to their detriment. I wish people would fucking stop it. Stop making white people the unbeatable boogeyman. Like, stop.
But that's not the conversation. And so, Jen, hold on. That's not the conversation. The conversation, if we're going to discuss that conversation is that's your enemy. And what they present to you is not a reflection of who you are and what greatness exists within you.
Who's your enemy? Who's your enemy?
I'm talking about, just like a dog would call a cat, that's your enemy. That's the same dynamic. By nature,
Hold on.
No, I said no. When you tell your child, I understand, but I want to be clear. I don't want you talking about something I didn't mention. I just want to clarify. When you said that's your enemy, are you telling the little 5-year-old girl, the little 5-year-old black girl, that the little other 5-year-old black girl, are you saying that's your enemy? Because that's the girl that told her whatever she said in school, not the white man. The white man, little black girl told another little black girl, you ugly, your nose is too big. Are you telling that little girl that's your enemy?
No.
Thank you. So then why would you put in a black child's psyche, that the white people are the enemy when anybody could be her enemy? Her cousin could be her enemy. Her mama could be her enemy. Her sister could be her enemy. And more than likely, her mama, her sister, her cousin are close enough to her to hurt her for real.
There you go.
That's my point.
Let me say this. That little black girl, in her ignorance, is a byproduct of the bigger picture. So if you don't show
what's the bigger picture? What's the bigger picture?
Hold on. White supremacy.
What's the bigger picture?
I just said it.
There goes the bigger picture. Hi, bigger picture. Hi, bigger picture.
Again, you can minimalize, you can trivialize it, but societally, socially, we have a set of dynamics that we're confronted with on a continual basis. And if you don't want to acknowledge it, you know it's true. We have those sidebar conversations. So when it comes down to the reality,
and if you remember the sidebar conversations, what do I always say? Let's keep it real, because you always want to go to our sidebar conversations. Let's keep it 100. What do I say in our sidebar? What do I say? Do I not say that you up the white man's ass in the sidebar? Since you want to bring up the sidebar, we could bring up the sidebar ish. If you want to bring up the sidebar, we can bring up the sidebar. I don't know if you want to bring up the sidebar with me, buddy.
Well, what I'm saying to you, and I'm not saying this directly to you,
because in the sidebar, I've never in any time that you've known me, I have never spoken in a way where I would cower to a white person.
Hold on. When
Let me go
I'm saying sidebar. Hold on. When I'm saying sidebar, I'm saying collectively as Black people sidebars. I'm not personalizing it towards our.
Oh, don't play with me.
So now.
So hold on. Let me just qualify this so that we're all like on the same page. But there are sidebar Black conversations that take place, and that was the point that I was referencing. I wasn't speaking on a personal one-to-one conversation, so that we're clear.
Okay.
That we have in relationship to our perspective of the experience here in America. And a lot of times it's double speak. We say one thing in the basement when we're talking to one another, and we say another thing publicly when we're around in a different social environment. So when we're speaking about this is your enemy, going back to the earlier point, this is not working in your best interest. And you have to create your own self-identity. You have to love yourself, because there is a great deal of people that are out there that are Caucasian-based, Caucasian-minded, colonizer-minded, that are against you, that are saying
so
to
we
you
can, okay, let's not get long-winded. Let's not get long-winded. It's too many people. Then wrap it up. It's too many people on the panel. We got to go around.
I got you. But what I'm saying is that is the problem at hand. That if people are saying you're ugly, and the media is saying you're ugly, and the books and all the other things are saying you're ugly, where is this coming? Got your
point. Then what you're saying is, which is absolutely ridiculous, is that Black people are morally superior, and that's fucking horseshit. That is what you're basically saying. That another Black person cannot be a full-blown fucking asshole, cannot be a fucking evil person, cannot be a cheater, a liar, a fucking murderer, because they're Black. And if they yeah, that's exactly what you're saying, because you keep taking it back to, if a little black girl says another little black girl's ugly, it can't just be that the little black girl's an asshole. It can't just be that. No, it's the bigger, she's saying that because of the bigger picture. Therefore, you are saying that black people are morally superior, and that is horseshit. Mr. Research, you wanted 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Let me just jump this in. So solution number 4. Lay solution number 4 on this panel. What I'm going to marry Haran's point, Jen's point, and your point, bro. What's trying to be said here by Haran and Jen is the example of the black girl in Ireland who just got dissed by not getting an award. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what Jen is talking about, the black girl versus the black girl. As a proud dark-skinned guy who grew up in a dark-skinned family, I never saw it because I always did this solution. The black girl got the smoke and the white person got the smoke. So what should have happened with the girl in Ireland when she got the medal last, or they never gave it to her? Instantly go over to the microphones. I see I didn't get a medal. The level of disrespect from you guys is off the top. Same thing with the black girl versus the black girl. Hey, I see you want some smoke. Let's get into this closet and finish this nonsense. Dark-skinned people, leader of the dark-skinned club, got to get to a point where all situations get the same equal smoke.
That's it.
What she's trying to say, this is why I practice samurai mentality. What she is saying is there should be less of a point where we give these mayonnaise people an honorable mention out of our mouth. It is not to say that the system don't happen at all. It's not to say that, but I look for every opportunity to give mayonnaise smoke, Asian smoke, Pakistani smoke. Oh, I will sit there and take the nonsense. And when it's convenient, hey, C-Lay, you want to say a few words? I don't like how I was just disrespected. C-Lay, give me the mic. Hey, no. I don't like how I was disrespected. I don't like what was said. None of you spoke up and said anything. And even if it cost me my job, I got to let y'all know all that is out of pocket. Said that on a Zoom call, 2019. Got fired for it. Didn't give a hell. Needed to be said. So my point is that the way they're trying to present it to you, all that is true. But we as black people, we got to stop. Not got to stop. I would suggest that we not put them in this constant blender of they, and them. At some point, there needs to be more of us to challenge it intellectually and say, we saw what you just did. We putting it on video camera. We calling it out. That better not happen again. Or me, James, Ish, and Haran are going to dig into our pockets, get a lobbyist, dig into our pockets, get a lawyer, and we're going to civilly sue. We got to get to that point. That's the strength of the solution that they're asking for. It is not to negate anything you said. It's just that sometimes we make a 25% truth into 150% reality that ain't really there.
And I think it is damaging to children. It is my fucking pet peeve. It drives me up a wall. I constantly say white supremacy is real. Oppression is real. Redlining is real. But you know what else is real? That someone black or brown could live in their neighborhood their entire lives and never see a pale face and get fucked over and over again by the people in their family, by the people in the next building, by their neighbor. And they're all black and brown. They're all black and brown and never see a pale face. It doesn't matter why, okay? Because when everybody's in the hood, everybody's thinking, oh, we're all equal. I don't care about you. I don't care about you. But you constantly are pushing that black people are morally superior, and they are not. And that is the issue. Like, you're having a difficult time thinking there's no way black people can be evil. Not as long as white people exist. When people are evil, every race, creed, age, gender, skin color that you could think of around the globe, human beings suck. Human beings are a fucking virus. You give them something beautiful and they will find a way to fucking sell it or destroy it. That is human beings in general. I could not live a life giving No Saint and them this much credit. I will not do it. My ego is too big. My pride is too big for my complexion. I will not do it. I will not raise my children that way. I will not raise my grandchildren that way. Like the idea that white people are untouchable, unstoppable, the superior, the one, you people-ish, you're the ones that keep perpetuating it. You're the ones that keep putting a battery in their back where No Saint, someone who's not even a violent white man, will walk in a room like, well, shit, they still worried about me. Fuck that.
Again,
I'm using my privilege.
You and I
that's
both
what
know
y'all
that's
do.
not what's being said. That's not it. That's not.
That is what's being said. That's literally what's being said.
That's not literally what's being said. That they're unstoppable.
Listen, every time something happens, you take it back to, but why did the black girl mad? But why did the black guy kill? But why did the black guy steal?
You have to understand
why did the black woman cheat? Right, and the root and the source to you is, again, the white God. The root and the source to you is always the white God. It's
white
weird.
Enemy. And once no, listen. Okay, hold on.
You have black enemies, though.
Allow me to respond.
But you have black enemies, though.
Allow me to respond.
But you have black enemies, though.
I heard you. So now, can I respond?
Okay, address the black enemies.
The fourth time.
Address the black enemies. Get off the white man's dick for a minute. Address the black enemy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Not at all.
You're taking a big pink ride. You're taking a big pink ride, okay? What do you do with your black enemy?
Towards a solution.
Do you divorce yourself from black men, or do you try to help them, bring them in the nation and make them, you wash them off and don't be a crackhead no more. We will help.
And that's what we do.
All right.
And we're
what do you do with the black
enemy?
There's
no other organization that's effective. So
what do you do with the black enemy?
I can answer. Allow me to finish.
The one that's fucking your girl, or the one that's stealing from your pocket, or the one that's stealing your hubcaps. What do you do? What do you do?
I can give you that answer if you like it.
Sure.
Okay. We have to love ourselves more than we hate ourselves.
Lord. Necessary Evil, thank you for the super chat. Necessary Evil says,
again,
blaming single mothers, always hilarious to me. Fathers can always get custody if they can do it better. I'm just saying, I love that fucking comment.
There's a number of reasons why that doesn't happen. And
I love that fucking comment.
And one of the reasons why it doesn't happen is a lot of motherfuckers just don't have enough money to actually afford a lawyer. And this is the reason why I keep telling them, this is why you need money, or else everyone can take advantage of you.
Get a second job.
But the thing is that those men don't want the kid.
There's a lot of dudes. There's a lot of dudes that want the kid. Sorry, James. There's a lot of dudes that want the kid. But this where it does go to Ish's point. Some of them are so system trained, that they never allow themselves to get to this, to hell with that, I'm gonna do XYZ status. Everything everybody's saying is true, but there are percentages. I think that's what gets lost in this conversation. There are percentages, and what we should be wanting is why I agree with Jen and Haran more so. We should want more warriors who say, you know what? Even though C-Lay don't have no kids, I'm going to donate to James because he's creating a system to where fathers will be protected, or kid. We as black men got to really get off the couch with the pontification and get back to, I don't like this. This gotta go. Even if I don't like Haran, we're gonna get together on this particular topic and make this happen. Go ahead, James. My apologies, brother.
I just want to say one thing, though. One question. I gotta ask you three brothers. Just one question.
Hurry up and ask Ish, because he's about to get cut and he's not gonna be here.
About 40%.
He's about to get cut.
It's about 30 to 40% of black people, let's just say black men, working black men, decided not to pay their taxes for 3 years until until a number of our gripes and a number of our issues were actually met and seen. Just like you will not pay your rent in a house that you live in until the landlord fixes all the busted shit in there. If we actually did that, How quickly do you think we could turn things around, and how feasible do you think that is?
It's not. I don't think it's feasible, but I think it's doable. But I don't think black men are going to do it. Another thing I wanted to say.
No, I wanted to ask
you
them.
said,
I'm asking the
oh
brothers.
wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Really quickly. I just wanted to throw in something to your point, Haran. Really quickly.
It goes for Adam Hurd's comment too.
Yeah, no, it's funny. He took the thought out of my mind because I was about to tell Haran, because Haran, you said because they don't have money, right? They can't fight for their kids because they don't have money. But then you go in this guy's house and he has a 70-inch screen TV. Does he not?
No.
Right? He has the season tickets to the game. He has the $300 Jordan. So it's not that they don't have it; it's that they don't want to do it. But again, there's percentages. Hold on, no saint. Hold on, no saint. But again, it goes back to what Mr. Research said. Percentages, right? I can't say all black men don't want their children, but the majority who sit back and be like, that's a single mother. Have you gone to court and fought for your child? Have you put money up for an attorney? If you don't have the money, did you get that second or third job so you can afford an attorney?
Well, one
can you brothers answer the question that I just gave you?
To the attorney point, Obama passed the law to help people, to help black folks in two ways, even though people don't like to admit it. He dipped into the Treasury and created a law to give you 4 hours of free paralegal through the system itself. So if you are a person who feels how you feel about the you don't have the money, the Obama you claim didn't do nothing for black folks, go down to the child support system and say, hey, where's that free 4 hours of paralegal I heard about? And they will point you to the department. And between the hours of 10 and 2, you're able to get that free service. Thanks to Obama, even though you claim he didn't do nothing for black folks.
Wait, if you don't mind.
And let me say this.
I just want to say one thing, please.
Let James talk.
Because I kind of have to get out of here. So I just wanted to say that thanks for letting me be a part of this conversation. And I'm sorry, Lily, if the only reason I used that word was seriously just because I thought that saying that word would flag the comment. I wasn't trying to be, I'm not even like that. Okay, so I just want you to know that. You know what I mean? But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But the one thing that I always kind of wanted to ask, and this is a literal question to you, Jen. This is not, I'm not being sarcastic or anything. Would you say, like, have you lived the African-American experience? Have you lived it? Like, no. And this is not,
Good night, James. Thank you for the super chat, Big Elvis, the Chef Rosenberg. I heard you earlier on.
Lily, you know why I was laughing. It's like, wow, he's doing
how you doing, Big Elvis? I heard you on the Star Report earlier. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for the super chat. All right, guys. So this went. Oh, I mean, we went.
Wait.
Oh, there's more. Wait, there's more.
These two brothers ain't answer my question.
Oh, my bad.
When I asked,
Mr. Research,
I thought you was asking Ish. I asked all three of you, and the other gentleman got his ass kicked up out of here. So I'm asking it too.
Wait. But let's answer his question. Yes, she has lived the black experience. She lived in the Bronx all of her life. Next door, around, across the street.
Everybody was living black experience in the 80s.
Right,
90s,
exactly.
70s,
So
okay.
just to close the door on that conversation. Moving on.
Ask it one more time, Haran. One more time, Haran.
What you said?
Ask it one
more time.
Oh, the question I was asking if about a good, let's just say even 30%. If 30% of us, we have a very long list of issues and demands and so on and so forth that we have in the community. If we withheld from paying our taxes for a number of like maybe 2 or 3 years, do you think we can make some headway if we really made an economic dent in
absolutely.
Absolutely.
No. If we withheld taxes, if we did not participate in Christmas and all the other holiday shoppings that we do, we could change the whole dynamics of our community. And if we redirected every one of those nickels, dimes, and quarters, we could build black schools. We could establish urban farming. We could, set up and support black businesses by creating a black bank. We could do all of those things just by unifying our efforts. I agree with you. If we did needless and we stopped the needless spending.
So I say no. If you want something more powerful, black men do a thing through music and media. No more black men in the military until we get this. Now that is something that they're afraid of.
I mean, he's saying the same.
Wait,
he's saying the same thing.
You're
saying the same thing.
Let me rock for a second. That is something you could do. Solution number 5. See, late solution number 5. That is something you could do to get what you're talking about, but the money's factor is not so major. Little known fact: taxes are illegal. Okay, taxes were only. This is why I missed the research. Taxes were only created for World War I.
Right.
Okay, they kept it rolling. I have known several people who have never ever done it to this day and moving just fine. Now, that isn't to say that if the I people decide to come at them one day, but that is not a factor. You want to do something more powerful than that, get a lobbyist.
Yes, it.
Get a lobbyist. Everybody kick in $10 a month times 1 million brothers. Get a lobbyist. Go straight to either California, Texas, Chicago, or New York. Get one of the laws passed there. It trickles down to the rest of the nation.
And we always say it on the show: buy you a politician.
Hey, but see, the black man problem is, and this goes to what we were saying, and I say this out of love. Sounds like I'm looking down. The problem is we have been doing this for so long. We ain't ready for the 3-dimensional chess. And everybody else is 3-dimensional chess right now. And we still thinking that, man, backgammon gonna come back.
Well, I would say that it's we have to fight a battle on all fronts. And I don't think that there's one single solution. I think that it's a multi-dimensional dynamic that we have to fall in under. So what you're saying on the no black men in the military, we have to follow the same blueprint that the boycotts when they did the bus boycotts. If you're going to say no black men that are in the military, everybody that divorces from the military, we set up a fund to be able to financially help them take care of their families. Just like when they said no bus boycotts, people helped start shuttling people to and fro from work. So it has to be a collective ideology and a collective game plan in relationship to that. So that's rooted in just seeing ourselves collectively as one community and one family, and making those efforts, which starts with the lack of self-hate.
Well, look, you can go be a park ranger and get almost the same benefits that the darn military is going to get you.
That's true.
Park rangers is same. You're getting access to the same identical setup, minus the ability to shop at that grocery store. Mm-hmm. Everything else you pretty much getting. Coast Guard, same ideal. The border patrols, almost as good as military. The black man has been trained since the days of the Buffalo Soldier. Mess up. I was gonna do it for you. I ain't gonna be able to give you nothing for that, Leroy. That's okay, master. I just want to get that Indian. So that's where the problem is. We got too many people in the black male community, and I'm assuming I'm talking to warriors out there for people who want to clip my words. I'm talking to warriors. I'm not talking to excuse makers. I'm talking to Huey Newton type people.
Mr. Research, what do you do with the excuse makers? Do you try to bring them along, or you just leave them?
No, you do the same thing the Pullman Union did. You exclude them. Everybody go watch the movie 5,000 People Named George. You got to exclude the people who just want to yap, and you got to mix your money, keyword here, with other people willing to lose their money. I don't want to mix my money with free people who want to just give me nothing but a speech. I can't rock with speech people. I got to rock with people who are willing to. I mix my 50 with your 50. I mix my 100 with your 100. If we take a loss, we take a loss. Together. So that way, when Haran calls me in the middle of the morning, 3 a.m., hey man, they about to go to the. I'm more serious because I'm invested. the dude that's talking the most, man, don't worry about it. They. I don't want to hear
they, them.
I don't want to hear.
Speaking of, before we get out of here, Sid, we still have almost 50 people in the room. Since I was comfortable, I want to say something really quickly about James always does that silly shit about have you lived the African Americans? I didn't have to. And here's why. Unfortunately, Black people in this country think that oppression and racism only affected them. They covet oppression. They covet racism. It's a thing that only happened to them. It's exclusive only to them. Why was the Rainbow Coalition formed? Can anybody answer that? Why was the Rainbow Coalition formed? I'm just wondering.
Because Reggie wanted some money.
Yeah, why was it formed? Right? Fred Hampton said, you guys over there, you Puerto Ricans, you got the same problems that we got.
Absolutely.
You guys over there, oh shit, you got the same problems that we got. Why don't we come together, right? And try to deal with this problem. Why did Lolita LeBron run up in the fucking Capitol? January 6th wasn't the first time somebody invaded a Capitol. A Puerto Rican woman, okay, led men into the fucking Capitol in the United States of America, fully armed, popping shots. Right? How many Black people know about that? How many Black people know about Felicita Gomez? How many Black people know about Albizu Campos? How many Black people know that Arturo Schomburg, the building in Harlem, the Puerto Rican man? Right? So I didn't have to experience the Young Lords. Absolutely the Young Lords, who were the Puerto Rican version of the Black Panthers. So I'm not responsible for a Black person's ignorance. So oppression and racism is not exclusive to Black people in America. Far, far, far from it. Far, far, far from it. So when James asks me a question like that, it just shows me how fucking ignorant you are and how you can't see out of your Black oppression and racism bubble. These motherfuckers, okay, wanted to squash everybody, because they are the majority of the country. Right. And this is why I say stop deifying these motherfuckers. Just stop it. But I didn't have to experience a quote unquote Black experience to know what the fuck oppression is or how I've been treated or what have you. Right. And I'll rest there. I will pass the mic.
It would be good to get some Jen TikTok shorts on those historic things that you just mentioned.
Absolutely.
Because I think it helps. I'm a proud, foundational and ADOS type of person. I do this thing. I call myself OSHA. I do this thing, OSHA Black Conservative against racist Republicans. Someone asked me, why do I do that? Because conservatism is different than what Reaganites have turned it into. But if I don't talk about the historical fact of Nixon and Reagan laughing, calling Africans and Black people monkeys, you won't know this information exists. So I try to put myself forward and have these conversations so that people, to your point, can have a full breadth conversation. You can still rock with the Puerto Ricans ain't part of it if that's what you want to, but I want you to know for a fact, a verified fact, that these points in history have happened. So that way, when you're popping off and I say, you don't got no evidence to support that because blah, 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 blah. And I got that from a video saying XYZ. I just want us more to get the information. I will say this, we as Black people, we go off too much conspiracy conversation. I would like for us to get more well-read.
I love that. I was listening to a show earlier today, and the guy got into this whole diatribe about Kevin Samuels was killed because I was like, you can't be serious. You got to be shitting me. He was because he was for the Black community, and that's why they killed him. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I can't watch this shit. With that said, Mr. Research, we enjoy your brown face. Thank you for not going behind the avatar. Okay, we enjoy you on the panel. Lily did screenshot your email. I advise any man who's interested in that conversation on Mr. Research channel. No, say I don't know if you're invited. He's not invited, right, to the barbecue.
No. You know what?
He's invited to the barbecue.
I encourage him to come.
Okay.
I'm actually we did the me and another conservative brother, we did a response to the Jubilee. You guys covered it. Conservative, black conservative, and white liberal. So and we're inviting other white liberals to come on because I want people to understand that the goofy people are not representative of everybody. And bring me your intellectualism. Don't bring me your long-winded speech on maybe, could be, possibly in the world of they. I don't want to hear maybe, could be, possibly in the world of they. I want to know what you have read. Where did you get that source from? And I'm not even going to rebut you. I'm going to say, okay, I'll research what you got. But when you give me these speeches that's empty evidence, I ain't rocking with that.
All right. And I'll also put the invite in my community section and let men know if they want to go have that conversation with you, hit you up on
Black
man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, you taking us out with some music. That's fine.
Right. We like music around here.
All right, guys, I have to change the whole title and the thumbnail. We're going to get into that white boy tomorrow. Thank you so much. This was intense. This was good. I loved every fucking minute of it. I put my blade away ish. We all good. I put it away. Thank you guys. Chat, thank you for holding us down. Thank you for the super chats. Be back here mañana. We going in on that white boy. We going in tomorrow.
Hey, you know my martial arts training. I can handle you any blade you toss out there, soldier.
Okay. Salute then. All right. Good night, guys. All right, guys. Good night. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door for mama. This was quite enjoyable, quite interesting. This is what happens on the block, man. We get on this stoop and all hell breaks loose sometimes, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. Hit that like and subscribe. Again, on your way out the door, if you want to support the show, Cash App. On the Block with Jen, baby. And we will see you here mañana. Thank you so much, guys. Truly, madly, deeply. We can't do this without you. Okay? Good night.